it's very important, as you say, to have those things out in the real world that pull you towards it. I did not take classes with groups of students. The one-on-one class, I took that for maybe 3 months. It was 1 hour a week for about 3 months. But I'm convinced that if I had just started thinking, okay, well, the first thing I need to do is enroll in a Spanish class. If I had taken that route, it's likely that I probably never would have learned because,
Wow, that's funny. I think we might be really different that way because I've wanted to learn Spanish for a long time and I've tried to self-motivate and do like the Duolingo thing or look up videos online, and I've lacked the discipline to like sit down and commit it. But it's the same thing. Like I don't have a ton of opportunities right now to be around a Spanish speaking culture or like use it every day, right? So I've had those thoughts to myself. I'm like, man, I really wish I could just like enroll in a Spanish class or even like a small classroom.
yeah.
It costs money, but yeah, but I've often caught myself saying like, man, I wish I could enroll in a class, or maybe I should enroll in a class this summer, or yeah, I feel that I think that I might be a bit different in that
Yeah,
way.
it's so hard to know, the one that I took for only 3 months. The reason I left it was because I took those classes on a Saturday. And for 1 hour, I think she charged like $20. And it was way on the other side of Kansas City. And Kansas City in square kilometers is an enormous metro area. There's nothing in it, but it's enormously spread out. So it took about an hour to drive there. And I never studied in the week. I was always too busy to study. So I would always
Yeah.
get to her place about an hour before, and I would park at a gas station about 3 blocks away just to make sure I didn't arrive late. And for that hour, I would study up on everything that I was supposed to do like throughout the week before. And so that when I went there, it's so impressive how fresh this is in your mind. I was like, I just looked at it before I came in. So, but there was a guy at my work who was from Brazil, and I just had this idea. I was like, well, if I can learn Spanish, I can learn Portuguese as well. And there were some Brazilians there, right? And so I said, hey, I'm looking for somebody who, like on the weekend, like on Sunday or whenever, just hang out with and just try to, maybe if you're learning English, I could try to, go out and learn some Portuguese as well. And so he says, well, come with me on Saturday. I'm going to introduce you to a guy. So, okay. So I go with this guy on Saturday, and he takes me to this church. And it was a Seventh-day Adventist church. So they always do their thing on Saturdays. But this church was an all Spanish-speaking church. It was a church basically that had been made up with immigrants, and most of whom did not speak English, although there were a few that spoke English. But I mean, like when we walked in, I was the only guy there that was not from out of town, so to speak. And so, I met the people there, and the interesting thing about churches in general is that when you go into a church the first time, everybody's very friendly, and that people usually are pretty talkative. On that first day, I met some very friendly people, and one particular thing about Seventh-day Adventists is that they're kind of out on the fringes of Christianity. I don't think I would go as far as to say that they're like a cult, but they're out on the fringes because they have these different ideas, and these ideas, they proudly separate them from the rest of the churches, going to church on Saturday being one of them. And they're very, very, very into the Bible. They're always not just like one guy in the front talking about the Bible and everybody going, okay. No. Like everybody in there, always got their Bible out, looking at this, looking at that, arguing about this, debating and whatnot. So I was fascinated by that because I don't care, I don't care if we're talking about politics. I don't care if we're talking about do anything, but anywhere where you have a group of people that are really into something and they like to make their points and show how their point is right, for me, that's fascinating. So I started going with these guys like every week. That's another Spanish thing, saying going with these guys, because you'd be thinking like going with them where? That's but in Spanish, is like going with somebody means like just going to visit them, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking in Spanish again. But I would meet with these guys every Saturday at their church, and I never became a Seventh-day Adventist. But at the same time, when you're with them and you make relationships with them and you make friends with them, then everything you do with them is in solidarity with what the purpose is to be there. So I don't have anything against it, but there were many opportunities to argue about this or that, and many people from different nationalities that were there. I remember really having a difficult situation from a woman from Argentina who was very, very outspoken about things. And we started talking about, something, and I was giving my point of view, but I was not really able to articulate how I wanted to say it. And the look that she's giving me while I'm talking about it, this look like, you're such an idiot and you do not know what you're talking about. And it's like, I can't say it how I want to say it. And of course, because you're not one of them, it's more reason for them to think that obviously you don't know what you're talking about. So
Right.
I remember very often those Saturdays, because you go in the morning with them, and then somebody would always invite you to their house to have lunch and relax and do whatever all afternoon, and then they would go back on Saturday night. And so I'd spend the entire day with these guys, and when I would get home, man, you just have such a headache all day. And it's not just the Spanish, it's the whole behavior around the religion and everything. Some of it just isn't you, but you're being in it. And yeah, you have a headache and you pop a few aspirin, and immediately, I should be going out and doing something fun, but I would sit down at my desk and I'd be like, man, next week when I talk to this woman about this, I'm going to know exactly how to say what I was wanting to say. So I'd spend another 3 hours at home trying to work out a paragraph of thought. And then I would walk around the room practicing saying it in a way that I'd want to make an argument. And why would I do that if all I had was a class? Never. These are real things where you feel real emotions and you feel real, maybe as you mentioned before, accountability. Who the hell am I to be standing here making an argument if I can't even really say what I'm trying to say? So
Right.
there was that sense that, hey, I have to be accountable for this. I can't go back next week and just continue to be that fool in that woman's eyes. And there were many opportunities for that. And I think those were probably the most compelling things that pushed me to continue to just kind of push the envelope a little bit of trying to do better next week than I did the week before.